and good evening. I'm Melissa Idris. Welcome to Consider This. This is the show where we want you to consider and then reconsider what you know of the news of the day. A growing cohort of fresh graduates poised to enter the job market are instead choosing to boomerang back to university for advanced degrees, masters and PhDs, all with the hopes of enhancing their career prospects. However, this trend has led to the rise of overeducation, which is where highly qualified individuals find themselves in jobs that do not match the level of their education or that fully utilize their advanced skills. Now, does this phenomenon point to a significant disconnect between the worlds of education and academia with the worlds of work? And how does the pursuit of higher education or higher qualifications impact the expectations and realities of the job market for the younger generation? Joining me now is Dr. Amirul Rafiq Abu Rahim, who is a research associate at Khazanah Research Institute. He specializes in labor market analysis, focusing on youth unemployment issues and the career progression of tertiary educated young workers in Malaysia. Amirul, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. I appreciate your time. Now, how should we understand this issue of over-education among young people? Is it, in your opinion, a prevalent issue in Malaysia?
Yes, thank you, Melissa, for having me on the show today. So first of all, let's break down what over-education really means. What you precisely mentioned just now, it is essentially when individuals have higher qualification than what their job roles require. So the official term used by the Department of Statistics reflecting the same concept is the skill-related underemployment. So just picture someone with a degree doing a job that only requires a high school diploma. So this mismatch can lead to a skill being underutilized or underused, and it's pretty significant issues among fresh graduates in Malaysia. So our analysis using the graduate tracer study from our Ministry of Higher Education have shown that a big chunk of of our fresh graduates face this over-education. It hits about 60% in 2018, and in 2021, it's about 50%. So now we are all worried about this issue of youth unemployment, graduate unemployment. So we have got to pay attention to this over-education stuff as well. So it's not just about landing a job, it's about setting yourself up for a successful and meaningful career down the line.
Right. Amirul, so that's a huge figure. 50% of young workers or workers are in jobs that don't commensurate with their level of education. Why is this happening? Why is it so high?
So it is a mix of things. First of all, we have got to the expansion of higher education. So with so many graduates flooding the job market space, about nearly 300,000 every year, right? It's getting tougher to match qualifications with the available jobs in the job market space. Then there is this whole mismatch issue between graduates know and what the employers want. Technology moving fast, and some graduates are getting left behind. So, and also let's not to forget about our economic side of things. We are facing this slow job creation. The high skill job creation is being slow, and also limited investment in high skill industries, especially when our economy is concentrated among the SME, the small medium enterprise, and also a rise on low paying gigs. This all add up to fewer opportunities for job for our graduates.
Right. So you're referencing fresh graduates with a university degree, so a first degree coming out and then working in jobs that are not equal to their level of education. We're also witnessing a rise in fresh graduates who have already a first degree but are continuing their academic journey, obtaining advanced degrees, masters and PhDs, and then when they come out and enter the job market, they actually have high qualifications but very little experience. I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on this phenomenon? How does having high qualifications but lacking practical working experience impact one's employability?
So our analysis also paints a pretty clear picture on this issue. Despite of having this master's and PhD, we are seeing more and more graduates are actually struggling to land a good job. In fact, the unemployment rate among advanced degree holders has shot up for about 20% in 2021 as compared to only just 6% in 2010. So just to add salt to the wound, fewer of them are starting off with those juicy high salary. And now that's also a kicker, as you correctly pointed out in terms of the practical experience, right? It's not just having for you to have this academic degree which looks good on before your names, right? Dr. Amirul, right? It's not just about having the skills. You need the skills to backing them out. So our data shows that graduates with hands-on experience, of course, with the right kind of industrial experience from the right industry, from the right organization and whatnot, you are actually have more likely to snag those good or desired jobs out there.
Right. Would you happen to know if there are specific industries or sectors where we're seeing this mismatch, where the mismatch is more pronounced between qualifications and job opportunities, or what is desired by an employer?
So when we are talking about sectors where this over-education matters, right? The agriculture related fields are prime example, if I may share. But it's not just limited to agriculture. We are also seeing these issues in non-modern services sectors and less high technology industries like our basic retail jobs and also manual labor jobs. So here's the thing. Our economy actually relies pretty heavily on the sectors, which means there's often a shortage of jobs that truly align with their qualification that our graduates can bring to the table. So it's like trying to fit a square peg into a round table, right? But here's where the real potential lies. Agriculture in particular hold quite a good promise for our graduates, but it is a kicker. We need to invest in technology to make it happen, right? We are not just talking about replacing them with foreign workers. And we are talking our graduates to stepping into managing the cutting edge technology in the farm, the kebun, right, in the ladang-ladang. So it's not just empowering them to lead the way in agriculture. So not just filling in someone else's shoes. And we need more investment to make this vision into reality. So we are talking about pouring resources into technology and innovation to transform our agriculture sectors. This is not just about finding any job for our graduates. It's about creating meaningful careers where they can thrive and make a real impact for their future careers. Yep.
Amirul, do you think that this current situation requires policy interventions by government? Do you have any recommendations as to how to address this issue?
I have a lot. Wonder if you have time
to hear.
Yeah. So just kidding lah. So let's talk about tackling over-education, how to align this with the job markets, right? So I think we have got some good policies in place, but I think let's be real lah. Sometimes the execution is a bit shaky, or maybe it's quite challenging, right? I think I can share a few in terms of to break it down into short-term fixes or in terms of long-term strategies. First off, in short terms, we have got to beef up our career counseling services at university or even at primary schools. I'm talking about giving students the lowdown on what hots in the job market, what skills are in demand, and what are the opportunities are. It's all about helping them to make the right and informed decision about their futures. And then about entrepreneurship. So this is where we wanted to moving on, right, on entrepreneurship nations. So we need to encourage our graduates to think outside the box to become job creators rather than job seekers. And we are not just talking about any old business here, or just being a business owner of short-term viral foods, the cromboloni, right? Or those kind of tasks lah. So we are talking about these high technology startups that can drive innovation and economic growth. And yeah, let's start planting those seeds early, even back in primary school, so kids get this entrepreneurial mindset from the get-go. So of course, we can't forget about our female graduates as well. So we're talking about gender bias, right? So we know that this gender bias practice in Malaysia is illegal, but some disparities is evidence in terms of women, male fare better than women and whatnot. And we also find that women graduates face their own set of challenges in the job market. And we really need this gender sensitive policy to level the playing field. So that means we can have this, for example, this mentorship program or some affirmative action initiatives, just you name it. I think it's already there, right? So we have got to make sure that there is not everyone is being, no one being left behind now.
For sure. Thank you so much for speaking with me. That was Dr. Amirul Rafiq Abu Rahim from Khazanah Research Institute. We're going to take a very quick break here on Consider This. We will be back with more. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back to Consider This. I'm Melissa Idris. Let's continue our conversation about the issue of overeducation. As we've just heard in the previous segment, about 50% of young graduates are working in jobs that do not match their level of education. There's also a growing cohort of young people who are entering the job market armed with advanced degrees or postgraduate degrees, masters and PhDs, but then lacking in real-world working experience that many employers seek. Now, what role do universities play in this phenomenon? Joining us now is Professor Mushtaq Al-Atabi, who is Provost and CEO at Heriot-Watt University, Malaysia. Mushtaq, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. From your vantage point, are you seeing a trend of overeducation among young people? Is this a significant concern for those within the tertiary education system?
Well, thanks a lot, Melissa. I think this is quite an important topic, and I would like first to maybe spend some time on sort of tightening the terminology here, because if by education we mean acquiring new knowledge, being curious about the world, learning new things, I don't think there will ever be overeducation. I think the more you acquire, the better, because the world needs that, and it's also about personal growth. But probably what we are talking about here is credentialism, where people think that just by virtue of getting sort of a degree or a certificate or an indication that I've completed a course, I would be improving potentially my employability chances or prospects. That bit is different to me from education, and I think currently it's not sufficient to just get a degree to acquire a job and be successful in life, because we are looking for more holistic individuals who are able to genuinely contribute to the world, individuals who are able to have a view and shape the world rather than just participate in a world that others have made. And I think this is the biggest challenge for educational institutions. This is the biggest challenge for the governments, and this is the biggest challenge for individuals, particularly to our youth.
Right. Mushtaq, do you think there might be a conflict of interest for universities when it comes to the issue of overeducation, or as you call it, credentialism?
I don't really view it as a conflict of interest, but I think there is absolutely a responsibility for all of us, particularly at the university, to offer courses and programs that are future-proofed. I think that is our number one responsibility towards our students, their parents, and also the community within which we operate. And I can talk, if you would like to, about how do we do this, and maybe I talk about our experience at Heriot-Watt University. So our university started in 1821, and the university started as a night school to prepare people who were at work to study at night so that they upskill themselves to acquire the skills and the knowledge that was needed during the first industrial revolution. And currently, we believe we still continue with the same mission because it's in our DNA at a time where the world is changing. And one of the key elements that we do is the focus on what we call purpose-driven education. And purpose-driven education is an approach to education where we see there are three components to our offering. The first one would be academic excellence. So whatever we do, it has to be of the highest standards. But at the same time, we have two other components. One of them is the building of character and personal effectiveness, and also building of emotional resilience into our graduates. Now, these are very important things because the world is changing. You want to build people who are able to acquire skills as they are at work. It's no longer sufficient that you get a degree and then you join the job market and then you just continue, because whatever you do, most likely ChatGPT will be able to do it better than you by the end of the year. Now, at the center of all of that is a discovery of a personal sense of purpose. And that's why every one of us as staff of the university, but also as students, we start our journey with the university with a process of discovering and articulating our purpose and building plans to mobilize that purpose into a positive impact on the world. We believe that this is so important for people to be able to contribute and be able to add value.
Right, but what should universities be doing to streamline the purpose-driven graduate and their interest and the desire to have meaningful work? But how do you streamline that with the current demands of the job market, with a view for employability and employment outcomes? It's all great and wonderful to say that I want to change the world, but I come out of the university and I don't have a commensurate job with my qualification. Do universities have a responsibility to ensure that they are guiding students down the correct career path?
Yep. I think universities do have that responsibility, of course. And how do they do it? I think the first thing, we need to take a deep breath and we need to take a long-term view. So that notion of being purpose-driven is actually the most difficult part of our job. The easiest part of our job is to teach you mathematics and physics and chemistry. That is the very easy part of our job that we have been doing for 2 centuries. The difficult bit is to take a human being with all, challenges, differences, uncertainties, confidence issues, and other things, and help them look deep inside so that they are able to find that unique capability. I have seen it with my own eyes, where in a job interview, a person who is able to talk about their purpose, why they are interested in this job specifically, getting the job. Now, if you recall, I said academic excellence is a tick. Of course, they have to be the best engineers and the best professionals. But that is now almost taken for granted. It's a hygiene factor. Every university has to deliver this. And in Malaysia, we have a very good accreditation system that ensures that all of that is available. But I believe for the future, it's going to be so important that we are able to help people make sure that they are reaching out to themselves and bring a unique value that only them can bring. That will be the only way forward, because I'm telling you, ChatGPT will be 1,000 times better than it's now by the end of this year. It is really very scary at a certain level, but at the same time, I am personally so optimistic, because anything that is not purely human will be automated eventually. And that's, to me, is a huge opportunity for humanity.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. That was Professor Mushtaq Al-Atabi, Provost of Heriot-Watt University, and that wraps up Heriot-Watt University Malaysia, and that wraps up this episode of Consider This. I'm Melissa Idris, signing off for the evening. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.